All right, crew, my math crew. We are on our last lesson of chapter 8. So lesson 4, areas of composite figures. So now we're going to find the areas of, remember, composite figures are those shapes, those figures that are formed by a bunch of different shapes that you already might know. Like if I'm putting together rectangles and squares and semicircles, things like that, to form one shape that kind of maybe looks funny, or we can break it down into shapes we already know. So when we're finding the area of composite figures, you're going to find the area of those different separate shapes that you already know, and then we're going to find the sum. We're going to add up all of those areas together. So find the area of composite figures, separate it into figures with areas you know how to find, then find the sum of those figures. We're going to add them all up. To the right, we have those grids. A few ways you guys could do this. Area, remember, is how we fill up. It's all that shaded area that's yellow here. We're going to count up how many full squares are filled in. If it's only half of a square, you're only going to count it as half of a square. So I'm looking, I automatically kind of go to those diagonals. Like I see half of a square here and another half. Well, together, if I were to put them together, they would be one full square. Whereas this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. And again, we still have another 2 halves that make a whole, and then we are left with this half. So in total, if you counted with me, we had those 45, we're going to say 46, 47 and a half units. And it's area, so it's units squared. So when you're given the grid like that, you can kind of just count it all up. It's one way to do it. Now, if you wanted to do it more as if you're taking the area of, shapes that you know how to take the area of, you could break this up into shapes that you know. Like I was automatically kind of drawing to well, this is a rectangle. I could have made my life easier and said, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, it's 4 high by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 long. So area of a rectangle, I multiply them together. 8 times 4, that's 32. Okay, and maybe I then was like, oh, well, this right here is another rectangle or square. It's a 3 by 3, so that's 9. And then I see a triangle, base times height divided by 2. So I have my base 1, 2, 3 by my height 3, which is 9. That would give me 4.5. And then same thing over here, base times height, 2 times 2 is 4, divided by 2 is 2, and then you could add up all of those because we just found the area of each individual shape that I could break that up into. Hopefully you're still with me. I just kind of threw a lot at you in the first few minutes here. So either way that you do the grid, it works, okay? Just take your time, figure out which way or method you like better, and take it from there. Okay, if you need me to further review that, I'm definitely going to be on Google Meets and I can help you out with that. All right, next, find the area of the basketball court shown. So guys, you want to be careful you don't overlap. So I do see a full circle, but I also see a full rectangle. So I'm going to say, all right, I see a rectangle. Now if I use that rectangle, right, if I figure out the area here of this, then I only need to find the area of this semicircle. Everyone with me? You don't want to find a full circle because then you'd kind of be overlapping. You'd be double dipping, which we don't want to do. So we're going to find the area of the rectangle. So again, we do it separately. And then the semicircle. So remember, find the area of a rectangle. You do length times width. So our length is 19. our width is 12. So when I do 19 times 12, I get an area of 228. So that's all in here is 228 feet squared. And now let's find the area of our semicircle, which again, we just were practicing last lesson on areas of circles. So area of a circle. Now, careful what they give us. This is 12, so that means this is 12. That's our diameter is 12, which means our radius divided by 2 to find the radius, our radius would be 6. So area equals pi times the radius squared. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 6 squared. Remember, 6 times 6, it's telling me I have 2 6s. Now, when I do that, I also have to remember I then divide it by 2 because this is only a semicircle. So multiply those all together, divide by 2, I get an area of 56.52 feet. Now, I'm not done. I want to find the total area of that entire basketball court. So I'm going to take the area of each separate shape, and to find the total, we just add them together. So add 228 plus 5652. Our total area should equal 284.52 feet squared. Now we have our final answer. All right, I got one more example for you. Again, I don't want to make these notes too long or too overwhelming, so I'm going to walk through one more with you. Now, I see this composite figure. I want to find the area of the entire blue shaded region here. I see 3 separate shapes, okay? And some of them I might have to refresh you on how to find the area of, and these might be equations you want to jot down so you don't forget. But I see a triangle, so we're going to have triangle, we'll find the area of. I see a rectangle, so we'll find the area of a rectangle. And then this last shape here, it's a quadrilateral, but more specifically, it's a parallelogram. So we're also going to find, which I think I just spelled that wrong, that's why I'm a math teacher. I'm going to just abbreviate. So we're going to find the area of all 3 of those shapes. Let's start with the triangle. Area of a triangle, you do 1/2 the base times the height, or do the base times the height and divide it by 2. So our base here is 11.2 times our height, which is 4.5. Multiply those together and then take half of it or divide it by 2. Your area for your triangle should be 25.2 centimeters squared. We're not done. We have to find the area of our rectangle next. Remember, area of a rectangle equals length times width. Our length is 8, and our width is 4.5. When I multiply them together, I get an area of the rectangle of 36 centimeters squared. So I have 2 shapes done so far. My last one is the parallelogram. To find the area of a parallelogram, you just do your base times your height. That's it. So if I come over here, I see a base or a bottom of 8 centimeters times a height, which is this dotted line. Okay, the reason they show you that right angle there, see that red, is because the height is always up and down. It has to be perpendicular, which means it has to form a right angle. It would never be the height of like this diagonal. That's not the height, that's the diagonal. Height would be from the base, from the bottom base to the top base. That's your height. So we're gonna do 8 times 6.7. When you multiply those together, you get 53.6 centimeters squared. Now, we are not done. Remember, last thing you need to do is find the total. Add them all up, all three shapes. That's going to give us our total area. So do 25.2 plus 36 plus 53.6. Your total area is 114.8 centimeters squared. That's the entire blue region here. It's including our triangle, rectangle, and parallelogram. That's our total area of that composite figure. All right, class, you made it through chapter 8. That was our last lesson. Ask me questions, email me, please talk to me. I know this chapter has had a lot of formulas, a lot of math involved. Good thing we get calculators though, so don't sweat it too much. All right, but give me a holler. Let me know if you need me. Have a great day, guys.